Kari Evans, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by prayer. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to serve the people of Boonville. Help us make good and right decisions for the city of Boonville. Amen.
Roll call, please.
Evans.
Here.
Meadows.
Here.
Beach. Hurt. Carter.
Here.
Henry's here.
Ehlers.
Here.
Heaton.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Hurt.
Here.
Okay, good time, Lieutenant. Hearing of citizens' comments. At this time, if anyone has something they would like to say, you have 5 minutes that you can come to the podium. Matt, you are on the dais, so.
Good evening. My name is Matt Sandra. I'm with the YMCA here in Boonville. I just want to hand out so what I'm showing you, the YMCA collaborated with the local school district 5 years ago, and we received a grant called the 21st Century Grant. The grant is designed to address maybe some learning gaps in those academically at-risk kids, so they can kind of continue and work on remediation skills after school. So we collaborated. We got about 20 to 30 kids to come to the Y after school, and we communicated with the teachers on a weekly basis as to what their needs were as far as reading, math, science, and things like that. It was a 5-year grant, and it was progressively decreased in funding. So by year 5, we didn't receive as much funding as we did in year 1. And the grant, unfortunately, is coming to an end. But what those show you is just some of and this is teacher feedback. And what that shows is the students' progress based on the teacher's opinion over this last school year. And I show those around to some people because I think it's important, I think, to know that there is a place in the community that the kids are getting some help that need it. And those kids that are in the program, most of them are low-income families, but they all have to be referred by either a teacher or the school counselor. Luckily, we have a good relationship with the school district, and I'm working with Joy Schuster right now to apply for another grant, the same one. Hopefully we get it, because it's a needed program, and we do see some success with the kids. And the parents love it, and the teachers love it. So hopefully we get it. Another line on another grant we're working on. Along with the state, we're trying to write a grant to provide free meals for any kid after school in the community. We think we're going to get it. We already have a grant very similar to it, but we're going to try and change it for next school year to include all kids under the age of 18 in the community can swing by the Y and pick up a hot meal if they want. And that will be funded by the state. So we're working on that. Hopefully we get it, and we can help some of the kids out who might not have a place to go after school, especially for some food. Just a couple other things. We just finished up. We're actually in the T-ball right now. We do a lot of youth sports and recreation. For some of you that are new to the council who might not know, we work with Gary to provide a lot of youth recreation programs. We just finished up youth T-ball. We had about 100 kids in that, or we're working on it right now. We just finished up Spikers, which is a volleyball for middle school age girls, and that was competitive, and that went very well. We're going to continue off of that. In our youth basketball, we had about 150 kids in that this last winter, so that went well. We're still continuing our after-school program. Like I mentioned, 21st Century Grant, but we also have another one that kind of is a sister program. And they do similar things, but it's not funded by the grant. We started our summer camp program. We have right now about 90 kids a day showing up at the Y. It's a very good program. It's based on our after-school program, so the kids still continue some remediation, or actually they just continue to read and do math, but then we also incorporate a lot of physical activity. make use of the pool, which I'm very appreciative of Gary for helping us out on that. And we keep them busy, and we do weekly field trips, educational field trips as well on a weekly basis. And the one thing I really like to stress about the summer camp is most people don't realize how inexpensive it is. Our normal fees for Y members are $55 a week, and that's for 11 hours a day, and you don't find that very often. And then even if they can't afford that, we still offer financial assistance to reduce it even more. Now, I have to say those fees will be going up a little bit each year to get it to where they need to be, but it's a pretty good deal for what we offer in the community. We do have another softball, and I know Gary and I had a lot of discussion on co-ed adult softball in the community. We offered it last summer the first time. It went very well at Rolling Hills. We had 5 teams, and we had a lot of fun. And believe it or not, the behavior was good. We didn't have any issues, and we're about to kick it off again, and we actually have 8 teams this summer. So, and right now we're maxed. We can't allow more than 8 teams because we only have Wednesday nights. But I'm excited to offer adults the opportunity to stay active over the summer, as well as adult tennis and youth tennis in high school. So with our summer camp and some other things, we're staying pretty busy at the Y. And for those of you who might not have heard, we're doing a fundraising program coming up, a fundraising event called Dancing with the Local Stars, and it's going to be held at St. Peter and Paul Gymnasium, and it's going to be fun. We have 11 couples dancing in it. I'm sure you guys know quite a few of them, but it should be including Mark Ficken and Evan Melkersman and Jennifer Wesselman and Sam Drow, quite a few, but it should be a good event, and we're actually sold out already. So we're looking for a good summer, and then hopefully the grant comes through, and into the fall we'll be on our way to a good fall. So I just wanted to give you a quick update and say thank you. I have a great relationship with the city, working with Gary and ML, but I'd like to keep you guys up to date as to what we're doing for the community. All right?
Thank you.
Any questions for me? Thank you.
Sounds like you're doing a good job, man. Any other comments? Approval of the minutes of the May 19th, 2014 council meeting. You've had those in your packet. Had a chance to look at those. Or are there any additions, corrections? Hearing none, they'll stand as presented. Consent items, we have none this evening. Presentation of accounts and claims. Mary, when you're ready, if you would please read that.
Ordinance appropriating money. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Boonville as follows. Section 1. For the purpose of paying salaries and various accounts against the City of Boonville, which have been allowed by the Council at the regular meeting thereof on June 2nd, 2014, the sum of $518,975.86. General Fund, $182,087.56. Sanitation, $17,115.14. CIP tax, $12,168.98. Waterworks, $119,795.65. Capital projects, $3,874.23. Wastewater, $62,254.94. Tourism, $6,432.62. Gaming, $115,246.74. Parks Water, 0. Section 2, the bookkeeper is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $518,975.86, being the total amount of money above appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage. First reading on June 2nd, 2014, read for the second time the second day of June 2014, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Morris,
Mayor, I make a motion this be approved.
do I hear a second?
Second.
Vicki? Any questions, comments? Roll call.
Evans,
Abstain.
Meadows,
Yes.
Hurt,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Ehlers,
Yes.
Heaton,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Unfinished business, we have a report from the Kemper alumnus, and Laura Gramlich is here.
Good evening. I passed out earlier a sheet of paper called the Kemper Building Development Plan for you all to read over. That's just kind of a oversight of what the Alumni Association Board of Directors kind of came up with as our vision, some of our goals about fundraising and strategy. So I've included that for you all to kind of look at. In 2002, when the school closed, the Alumni Association didn't. We've been active since before the school closed and continue to be active. We're a group of volunteers all throughout the country who have jobs, who have families, who have lives. But not a day goes by that one of us isn't on the phone to another, running questions, talking about different things that we want to bring to the table for the association, for reunions. Our alumni president the other day said he was awoken at 5:45 in the morning from an alumni who was calling from a different time zone, didn't realize it was that early where he was. So you never know if you'll get a call in the middle of the night, early in the morning from alumni, wanting to know what's going on, what's happening. Or the reunion to do things for Kemper. The campus is one I'd like to see brought back up and happen with, and not have buildings tore down and the history remain intact. Kemper Alumni Association is a 501c3 organization, and we can provide tax-deductible receipts for donations. It's been in existence since 1980 and also has had an endowment trust fund that it was established in 1999 to provide things such as scholarships for Kemper alumni. We have an alumni base of well over 4,000 current members who we can either reach by email or snail mail, things like that. We have a much larger group who we don't have good addresses for, but we have other alumni that do stay in contact with them. So I'd say by all estimates, well over 6,500 alumni that come view our webpage, check in with us from time to time. In January of this year, we launched an update to our webpage, and that can be found at www.kemperalumni.org. And it provides current information about Kemper, alumni functions, a quartermaster store for purchase of Kemper items. It provides information on how and where to get copies of transcripts and allows for an interactive experience. That's something we've been working hard on the last year, is to add updates, things like that, that can keep our alumni involved with each other and up to date with current events. Since my last visit with the City Council, the following action items have been started or completed. We went and visited with the state of Missouri and got unclaimed property, and it was combined with an existing account that the school had on hand. This money was used to start the Kemper Building Fund at Citizens Community and Trust, and currently has approximately $10,000 in it for seed money. Donations towards this account can be sent in care of the Alumni Association at P.O. Box 362, Boonville, Missouri 65233, or it can be sent through the alumni website. We applied for distinction for the 11 most endangered places for 2014. We are still waiting to hear the status of that application. This status would help focus national media attention on Boonville and Kemper, along with assisting in fundraising by expanding our message through the United States. We have established a business plan for the Building Trust and distributed to several alumni who are interested in helping the fundraising process. This plan will also be available on the Alumni Association website within the next few days, and that's the plan that I gave to you all earlier this evening. We have been working to secure a credentialed architect or engineer that deals with historic property for direction and more specific cost analysis on the administration building. This will help us determine what we are able to do with the amount of money we can raise and they may also be able to apply for historic tax credits to bring the cost of the project down considerably. Along with the historic tax credits, we have been looking at several grants that we may be eligible to apply for, but we're still in the research stage with this process, as there are many out there, but some of them have very specific requirements, and we want to make sure which ones we do meet the criteria for before we just go spending a lot of time and applying for stuff that may not fit what we need. We have also been looking at online fundraising websites and have found that there are 3 that we're interested in. They would be able to be accessed online and provide receipts for tax-exempt donations. We could also be able to accept credit card payments or PayPal payments through some of these websites. So I think that's a very good source. We've learned through the alumni reunion that people really like to go in with a credit card or PayPal and do things, and that way they can keep receipts that way. So I think that's going to be quite an asset. We're in the process of our first fundraiser, and we're trying to secure final funding to raffle off a customized Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Our alumni president is in a motorcycle club, and they do things like this, and what we would do is put it on our website. Our different alumni association members in different states would be selling tickets, so it would be not just in Missouri, not just in Boonville, but all over the United States for a chance to win this customized motorcycle. We have about 60% of the funding already needed. We're just trying to tie up a few loose ends, and then we can start kicking off that campaign. So look for additional information on the Kemper website. That'll probably be one of the first places we post that. Earlier this year, we contacted the Kemper Family Mansion in Orange County, Virginia. This is a historic mansion of General James Lawson Kemper, who was the 37th governor of Virginia and the brother of F.T. Kemper, who founded Kemper Military School. They were very interested in our project, and although they were not able to financially support us, they are willing to assist us in some grant processes. Since they've been through the process, they can tell us, some of the places that they had more success, some of the funding that is not necessarily where we should focus. So I think they're going to be a great asset. And then our Kemper reunion is planned for October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We're planning on having a good turnout, expanding off of what last year's numbers were. It's a good time to reunite old classmates and explore other opportunities for the Kemper campus and building. So this is just kind of a compiled thing of where we're at. Since the last city council meeting that I was at, there's a lot of work still in progress, but we are starting to see some forward motion with some of these things in place. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, I guess my only concern is the clock is ticking.
Exactly.
And I think what you've done is excellent. And I wish it would have been started a year ago.
Yeah.
But, so you're going to have to really...
Right. We have our heels to the fire.
Right.
The biggest thing that we have tackled is these making sure that our 501(c) was set up and in place to be able to receive the donations. Mm-hmm. That's kind of been what's stalled us a little, because I didn't want to kick into his fundraising process and then have to do some kind of work on that end. So that's done. We have the account set up. We have some people that were waiting for that to be done, and the donations are starting to trickle in, and I think once then we've announced the ways that people can contribute, that's going to help.
Okay.
And we are waiting still on the designation for the 11 most historic or most endangered places. If we were to be given that will give us also national attention, mm-hmm. which I think would be very helpful.
Okay. Morris?
I guess my only question is, on your fundraising, are you earmarking one specific job or challenge, or are you keeping it open?
Well, that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for a couple of our alumni who are architectural engineers to come in to actually tell us, okay, it's going to take X amount of dollars to do this. We haven't had it specifically said how much it will cost to save specific portions of the building or all of it. There's been kind of a wide price range, but we're hoping when they come in, they can say, if we raise X amount of dollars, this is where I think you should focus your money. It's hard for me because I have no background in that. That would be their specialty, where they could say, I think your biggest bang for your buck is to focus in on this area, that this is really where you need to focus on, instead of trying to save the whole building, maybe a section of the building, maybe certain aspects of the building.
I guess what I would be concerned about is if somebody made a donation of X amount of dollars to the administration building and the council chose to go ahead and erase the administration building, where does that leave your donation?
The way we have it set up is that it goes into a Save the Buildings fund, where then it can be earmarked to go to help restore or do other buildings on campus, such as the Science Hall project. You know, if they come in and they say there's absolutely no way that anything can be saved from the administration building, then we already have the go-ahead to take those funds and appropriate it for Science Hall or D-Barracks or another building.
Okay, that's what,
Yeah.
that answers my question.
Yeah.
Okay. And you are aware that we have had a certified, qualified engineering study.
Yes.
Of
When I
exactly
talked
the
to the
same things
State
you're
Historic
talking about.
Society, they suggested that we maybe get a second opinion from someone who deals more in historic preservation. They said sometimes there's a big difference in new construction or architectural versus historic, and also because they can apply for some historic tax credits, which then could also lower that number. And that's the reason we're kind of wanting to get a second opinion, is on the advice of them.
Okay. Who could apply for the historic tax credits?
My understanding is that people who are into historic restoration, preservation, there's some companies out there that deal in that, would be eligible. They apply for it. That they would have the knowledge of how to apply for that. And so that's kind of what we're looking for, a more specific, I guess, trade engineer in that area, because, you know, I wouldn't want them to take more time to try to research it. They'd have to
Right.
know how to apply for those and how to get that process started.
Any comments from anybody? Okay. Would council like to set another date in the near future to hear how they're doing, or do you just want to, how do you want to proceed? Noah?
I mean, I think it's to your advantage to keep us updated as you
Exactly.
go. You know, and obviously, any milestone you reach, you know, it's information that we need to know. Obviously, the timetable here is,
Sure.
you know, what it is, so.
Absolutely.
But
We
I
just
don't want to
didn't
overburden everybody either. We don't need monthly updates, but
Right.
certainly if you had a big to-do, you could always come in, even in the public section, and let us know. It's not like we have to have an official.
We're really waiting on that 11 most endangered places, and I was hoping that we would have it by tonight. Is one of the reasons I put it off till tonight. Last month was National Historic Preservation Month, and when I talked to the state board, they were talking about making their decision on those places, but I haven't heard anything whether we made that cut or not. So that was kind of one of the reasons I was hoping to come and say that we've got this distinction, but hopefully I will still be able to bring that news forward.
Is that the Missouri endangered?
Yeah, no, it's a national.
From what group?
National Historic Preservation,
Probably the National Trust?
yeah, National Trust, yes.
I'm sure we'd make the top 11 Missouri. I can imagine there'd be more than 11, but nationwide, who knows?
Yeah,
Okay,
that would really be a good thing for Boonville, and to highlight that. And
yeah. Well, I agree with Noah. It's to everybody's advantage for
Exactly.
us to move
Exactly.
ahead and work together on this.
Exactly.
So just keep us posted.
I will. I probably will come back in 60 to 90 days.
Yeah, I was
If
kind
that
of
would be a
thinking
good timetable.
3 months from now, maybe. Just come back and let us know.
Sounds
Unless there's
great.
something
If we have
If
some
you get
kind
$1
of,
million
that
pledged,
would be
come back
nice.
and tell us, would
When
you
somebody
please?
wins the lottery and decides to do the whole
Yeah.
project, that would be great.
Exactly. I think you understand.
Exactly. Well,
Okay.
thank you all for your time.
Okay, thank you,
Thanks,
Laura,
Laura.
for your time. New business, first reading of bill number 2014-014, authorizing renewal of agreement for professional airport management and flight training.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, authorizing renewal of an agreement for professional airport management and flight training services by and between the City of Boonville, Missouri and Lamine Aviation LLC, providing an effective date therefore and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Thank you, Mary. Reports of standing committees, Park Board, Steve?
Gary basically went over an activity report, and there was a reorganization of the board, so that's basically what happened.
Okay. Any questions? Boonville Housing Authority, it's actually Ned Beach is now the representative for that. He's not here, but the minutes are in the packet. I don't think anybody probably has any questions on that. Does look like they had a commissioner resign or retire, so we'll probably be getting someone to fill that vacancy, and that does come from that board, so, but it has to be approved by this group. Item C, Street Alley and Sanitation Board. Kari, there was
Yeah,
no-
that is rescheduled for June due to a conflict.
Okay. Reports of city officials, city administrator. Earl?
Yes, in front of you tonight was a memo from Kate. Part of her duties is liaison to the Tourism Commission, and she outlines a plan of action on replacing Lisa, who, as you know, recently resigned. And so she has it worked out pretty systematically, and solicits your feedback. If you have anything, get in touch with one of us by the end of the week. Also, just sort of a little update on demolitions, dangerous buildings. We've started up another set, and then this time we got actually a response from a person on a couple of them. One of them is located at 1104 4th Street. It's up there kind of across the street from the bowling alley or that repair shop up there. Owned by Mr. Gaines. He's been responsive and cooperative. He may be inclined to donate the property to us. He says he doesn't have the means to deal with it. And so we're not pushing him in that direction, but we'll be receptive if that's where he wants to go. Because then we get clean title, we're going to pay for it anyway, he's not going to fix it, so you might as well own it if you're going to have a lien on it. And a similar circumstance down here on Morgan Street, down just past the police department and that little cluster of problem houses there. One of those is on this list, and we got a response from a gentleman there. It's not quite as clean as Mr. Gaines, it's got a couple other people in there, but he knows how to contact them and so forth, and that may follow a similar path, but it's still a little earlier in that process. So we're still working through those things. That's all I have.
Thank you, Earl. Mayor, I have a couple of things, some more committee appointments. I put those in front of you. There's 3. One is to Planning and Zoning Commission. This is a gentleman, Jack Clough. And this is not filling a vacancy, this is adding a member to Planning and Zoning. If you'll recall, that board can be, what is it, from 8 to 15 members? 7 to 15. And it sort of fluctuated. At one time, when Mayor Blank was the mayor, there were 15 members on there. We found out that was too many. But it sort of had gotten down to where we felt like really we needed to add another member, because if you have a couple of members that aren't there, you need another voice, and you need a majority. So this gentleman is a retired attorney. He would bring a nice legal background to the committee and has just moved to town. He lives out close to the Lutheran Church and is very interested in becoming active in the community. So I have his resume if anyone wants to read that, but I think he would be well qualified, and he is interested in serving on that. Megan had a visit with him and feels like he would be a good addition to that. The other two are on the Architectural Review Board, Tamara Inge and Dave Day. They would be a representative. Tamara is on Historic Preservation, Dave Day on Planning and Zoning, and those are requirements to be on the Architectural Review Board that's used very seldom. It's only on call of the city planner. And if there is some problems in the overlay district, any questions, they convene and take up that question. Yes, Noah?
I move that we approve your appointments.
Okay, do I hear a second? Thank you, Susan. Any questions or comments? Roll call?
Evans?
Yes.
Meadows?
Yes.
Hurt?
Yes.
Carter?
Yes.
Ayers?
Yes.
Heaton?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
And the other item I have, I received a letter from Rho Mu sorority, and I put a copy of that, and they have asked me to read this letter into the record. Dear Mayor Thatcher and council members, this letter is to let you know about the concerns Rho Mu sorority has with the city animal shelter. Our group is Boonville-based. We either currently live or have lived here in the past. As current or past residents, we do not feel the animal shelter is adequate for the animals living there. It reflects poorly on the city. We want to commend the animal control officer for her dedication. However, the building is a disgrace. We have heard that funds are, quote, in the budget, unquote, but nothing has been done. We urge the council to start a building fund for the shelter and take action in the next year. Our group has contributed to the animal shelter in the past, and we would be interested in donating to a building fund. We also urge other organizations in the city to do the same. We have a city to be proud of in many aspects. We need to add a decent animal shelter to that list. Sincerely, Rho Mu sorority. Then, as a follow-up to that, you all may remember the city does have a building fund for the animal shelter. It's in our city, in part of the city foundation. That's right. So, called John Baker, our administrative person with the Boonville Foundation, and he visited with them. I had him call him, and he wrote me the following note. He called Janice Carey on Thursday, who is the president of the club. Says, I spoke with Janice Carey this afternoon. It was a good conversation. I expect they'll try to move forward with a project or campaign in the early fall. Thanks, John Baker. So, isn't it good that we have that started? So, okay. That's all I have. City Councilor?
I have nothing this evening.
Okay, Economic Development, City Clerk, Mary?
I have nothing to report.
Miscellaneous? Well, I think I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? Second. Becky, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? We're adjourned.
I know, I just need to.